It's probably a human universal that we seek meaning in the random chances of fate, and try to get some kind of message about our future or other hidden things from those random chances. This often takes a form of divination, and of course today we're familiar with forms of divination like reading palm lines, or reading tarot cards, or reading tea leaves. And the Norse also practiced some form of divination, although we're not exactly clear on how that was done. The sagas in which we read about this use some very similar language. For instance, in Landnámabók, the Book of the Settlement of Iceland, we read "Þó felldi onundur blótspánn til að hann skyldi verða vís." Then Onundur let fall the sacrifice chip, or spoon even, the word spawn is related to English spoon, that he should become wise about, and what he's trying to find out is the movements of some enemy. Then in Ynglinga saga, at a blót, a sacrifice, a king named Granmar also has a blótspánn let fall. This is the verb that's always used, fella, let fall. And it says, "Fell honum þó svo spánn, sem hann mundi eigi lengi liva." The blótspánn fell in such a way that he would not live a long time, and he did not. In the saga of Hervarar and Heidreks, Hervarar saga og Heidreks, we read, during a famine, "Þó voru gerðir hlutir af vísindamönnum og felldur blótspánn til, en svo gekk frett að aldrei mundi koma fyrir á reiðgótaland, en þeim sveini veri blóttat Esther veri á landinu." So then things were done by wise men, and the blótspánn, this sacrifice chip, was let fall, and it became known that the good harvest would never come back to reiðgótaland before the boy who was highest in the land was sacrificed. Then in Gautreks saga we read when the team is stuck on an island and they can't get a breeze to get their sails to take them away. "Þeir felldu spón til byrjar og fell svo að Óðinn vildi þiggja mann að hlutfalli að hanga úr hernum. Þó var skipliðinu til hlutfalla og kom upp hlutur vikars konungs." They let fall the chip, the sacrifice chip, the blótspánn, for a good breeze, and it fell in such a way that it indicated that Odin wanted to receive a man that the lot would indicate to hang him in that army. Then the army was arranged for the drawing of lots or the falling of lots, some kind of random selection, and the lot of King Vikar came up. Now, another human universal is to try to, when we don't have information, we want to fill in the gaps with the things that we want to see there, and a lot of people want to see runes here. It certainly is possible that these blótspánns had runes inscribed on them, and part of what supports that is a report by Tacitus more than 1,000 years before these sagas were written in his Germania, where he indicated that the Germanic tribes would cut a branch from a fruit-bearing tree, cut different marks into the pieces of a branch, and then they would throw them randomly over a white garment, and the caster would pick them up looking at the sky and then read them 3 different ways to interpret them. Now, Tacitus also mentions some other forms of divination. He mentions divination by the snorting of special horses that are kept for that purpose, and also divination by combat, which is common in many societies where the result of a duel is considered the will of the gods. But we have to remember that Tacitus is writing, again, 1,000 years before the sagas are written, and it's very difficult to say, just because the Germanic tribes spoke a related language, the early Germanic tribes spoke a related language to the early Germanic Old Norse language, that their culture was actually the same, that divination was practiced in a similar way. So even if the signs that Tacitus indicates were runes, it doesn't mean that the blótspánn was inscribed with runes as well. We simply don't know, and a lot of times in scholarship we have to accept that there are limits to what we actually know, and we have to resist the temptation to fill them in with what we want to see there. From beautiful Colorado, I'm wishing you all the best.